Welcome. Today we're going to discuss the technique Unwinding Pendulum and some of the different ways in which we can relate it to other elements of the American Kenpo system. Now keep in mind two things. One, this is not designed to be a full comprehensive list. It's far from it. And two, this is not family groupings. So rather, it's just different avenues that you can take to explore and understand the American Kenpo system a little bit better. So let's start out this relationships through the universal pattern. As you know, there's only two ways we can move, circles and lines. And the universal pattern is basically showing you how to transition from one to the other. Another way to think about that is why we have the saying where a circle ends, a line begins, and vice versa. So let's start this analysis through the different options of what we can do to a circle using Unwinding Pendulum. So if you notice what we're doing in Unwinding Pendulum is we're starting a circle and then reversing the circle. So we're doing the bottom part of the circle and then reversing that circle. So what's another option? Well, another option would be to continue the circle. This would give us something like retreating pendulum, where we're continuing the circle. What would be another option? Another option would be to switch to a new plane. In this case, going from a vertical to a horizontal. This is known as an orbital switch. We're going to be doing hugging pendulum. So as it comes in, we have the vertical circle followed by the horizontal. Now keep in mind, if we were doing 45 degrees or less, it would be an orbital adjustment. But there's one more thing we can do. Remember, we said the universal pattern deals with circles and lines. So we could also change the circle into a line. This could give us something like deflecting hammer, where we're now using a line rather than a circle. The other way to think about it is we're starting a circle and cutting it in half. But keep in mind what I said earlier, vice versa. So the line could also be reversed. It could be changed into another line, or it could be changed into a circle. So if we were to do deflecting hammer and continue into a circle in the same direction, we could now go into something like shielded mace. But if we wanted to go in the opposite direction, we would just go right back to where we started and go back to unwinding pendulum. So now that we related it through the universal pattern, let's look at it through what we're doing at the end of the technique. In this case, destabilizing the opponent. So let's start out with spreading branches and doing some buckles. We're going to take our right leg to buckle their left leg. Let's do an opposite of that. Let's do locked wing, where we take our left leg and buckle their right leg. So keep in mind that we can do things with our left, we can do things with our right, or we can do a combination of the two. So let's take a look at unwinding pendulum. What are we doing? Well, we are doing both. We're going to be doing the right buckle to their right leg, followed by the left buckle to their left leg. So notice what's interesting about this. We're using right to right, left to left, rather than earlier when we did right to left, left to right. Well, why? Well, because our zone of action has changed. We're no longer in front of the opponent, we're behind the opponent. But the interesting thing to keep in mind is that up to this point, we're using one of our legs against one of their legs. But we can do one of our legs against both of their legs. That's what the rest of the technique does. We're doing this left buckle followed by this left sweep. But notice it's done to their left and then their right. So let's do that again using the right leg, but switching our zone of action. So in this case, doing something like scraping hoof. If we finish the base technique, the extension shows you using the right leg to do the buckle, followed by the buckle, still doing that left-right that we did in unwinding pendulum. But let's do one more. Right now, we did one of our legs against both of their legs. So let's do the opposite. Let's use both of our legs against one of their legs and reverse the sequence that we did in unwinding pendulum. So rather than doing the buckle followed by the sweep, let's start with the sweep and then do the buckle. And this would give us something like destructive fans. So as we're here, if you notice, we're going to be using our left leg to sweep their right and then buckle the right. So the way that we just related unwinding pendulum to other elements of the American Kenpo system was through the destabilization and through the universal pattern. We hope this video helps you understand the American Kenpo system a little bit better. Thank you very much.